I just want to address the first question that coming from Ronel, like what are the biggest challenges from starting a career before success? So anyone can.
That's actually kind of like combined with the one that I was answering too. And I just feel like having a passion for what you do, just you would do it anyway. You know, you love what you do so much that you would do it even if you weren't successful, and you do it because you have a problem that you want to solve. Because sometimes your company and business will take years in order to take off or, you know, grow and, you know, see results and revenue. And you have to have that passion to see you through the difficult times, and you have to be really innovative to find new solutions. So what does everyone else think?
I'd have to agree. You really have to be able to love it. And just what Michelle mentioned, it's something about when you're doing this business, when you're doing your business, that it doesn't, even when you're with your friends and your family and you're having a good time, there's still something in you're like, or you get that aha, this is, or this idea, and you're just like, as soon as I can, I got to touch my business in some way. And that just lets you know, that kind of keeps you, it keeps it fresh. Because like Michelle mentioned, it takes, it takes quite a few years. And I think a lot of people see the end results. So I'm glad that you asked that question, Renelle, because it does take a lot. When you're in a startup phase and you're wanting people to know about your business and you may not be getting the support that you need, or you really don't know how to get that business out there, it can be discouraging, but you have to use that fire and remember why you started. Remember your why. And it's important to know your why, because you're going to need it, because entrepreneurship is like mountains and valleys. It's up and down. It's like the weather in Houston. I'm in Texas. If anybody's been to Texas, it's raining 10 minutes and then it's extremely hot and then it's cold. So that is how entrepreneurship is. You have to know how to be able to weather the storm and know that at the end of it, your hard work is definitely going to pay off. It may just take a little time.
Yeah, I think should I say something, Estella? Yes. So I think that, you know, like just addressing the other question right there also, what keeps you motivated? One thing that's very important, and I'm sure my friends here would agree, is you have to be resilient. You have to be able to bounce back. I remember this story, someone saying something happened in this person's life. And so she said to a friend of hers that, you know, I have fallen apart. I've fallen apart. This has happened in my life. And the friend replied and said that, you know, you have not fallen apart. You've just fallen down. You can stand up again and you can do this again. You've only fallen down, not fallen apart. And I think that is really something which I think about, because being resilient is extremely important. You have to be tough in this, and you have to not forget, as Sharita mentioned, that, like, you know, what is your purpose? You keep that in mind, because that is what will keep you motivated. And more than anything, I think you have to be passionate about what you're doing. So whether you're an entrepreneur or not, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, software developer, hair salon owner, does not matter. You have to be passionate about what you are doing. And if you enjoy what you are doing, you will find ways to be creative and find ways to either continue with that, add to that, or choose a different path.
Okay, so I think that was also like an answer for Michael's question about what keeps you motivated as entrepreneurs. But are there anything like insights you want to add aside from Mariam's answer of being resilient and being passionate with what you do, from Sharita and Michelle?
I'm going to let Michelle go first. And
okay. we actually we all met to kind of like outline this. So I am going from our outline that we made up talking points when we met earlier in the week. And I would like to say a little bit about We Transact at the very end, because that's our fundraising community. But one of the things I did want to say too is that I think that soft skills are really important when you're networking. I mean, like you know, knowing, you know, how, like, having emotional intelligence and, you know, social intelligence, because we're all human. And I've had, you know, and everybody has had probably some instances where, you know, there might be a little awkward moment, or even like you know, someone maybe, you know, acts out of line. And, you know, definitely these things happen, especially with online, when people like are, you know, chats or like in comments, or, you know, like a lot of times people are trolled. And I just feel like it takes practice to, you know, handle the things that may come up, but don't give up, and just always, you know, come from a, you know, compassionate place, because, you know, these kind of things have happened to me and they're pretty common. So I just feel like try to just be emotionally intelligent and kind when you're networking.
Yeah, if I may just quickly interject, the other day I read an article that once again emphasized that it's not IQ, but it is EQ that is important, you know?
Yeah, I think I would agree
IQ.
with, yeah, I would definitely agree with having like better EQ is more important, especially in a workplace, because most of like my mentors and seniors than me actually mentioned about attitude is everything, and interpersonal skills is a skill set that is very difficult to train, because it is not something that just given to a person. It is actually something that's being built up by a person, and it requires a totally like, or it demands a totally different kind of mindset to achieve such high EQ, because I think IQ is already given with with the rest of it as human in general, right? But EQ, let's say that I think in the industry there's a lot of introvert rather than extrovert people, and these introvert people actually just build themselves up to speak up publicly, right? I think that's a very common in the industry that we are in. So I would definitely agree with Miriam. Like, we gotta have to look for the EQ better rather than IQ. So
Right.
yeah, Sharita, do you have something to say about just what I mentioned?
So it's always hard for people to believe that I'm an introvert. And so they're just like, what? But you speak on stages. But when you said you have to build up to that. If someone would have asked me this a few years, years back, and you would ask me to do this, even virtually, I would have probably said no, just because the introvert in me was just like, no, I just want to be behind the scenes. I just want to do what I love and let that be, let that speak for me. But I had to learn that, you know what, it's okay. And when you said, well, what is it that you can use? Your superpower is authenticity and stepping out of your comfort zone, because you can't grow there. It's great. And it's okay to do that. But sometimes we have to get outside of the box or the circle that we've created, and really be able to see what else is out there for us. So that way we can continue to be able to grow personally and professionally.
All right. So I actually want to circle back on the on about like the networking, since that's actually like the Fireside Chat title. But I saw in the document that you discussed or created, like, about the better networking, better friendships. But let's say that at this moment we will never like know, I think, each other without someone who just like connected us, and that's gonna be Alexis, right? So can you give us an insight on how to better network to people you didn't know but you really wanted to connect with, especially online? That's I think virtually speaking, like what are your thoughts about connecting online with people you don't know, and like how do you guys like do it? Like, do you have any personal experience perhaps that you can share? Yeah.
Okay. Can I go? Who goes? Okay.
No,
Well,
Mariam.
okay, sure. So basically, the way that I do it is I find a common link. You know, you shouldn't just write a message to someone saying, "Oh yeah, I'd love to meet you, love to connect." They might accept, they might not accept. For example, on LinkedIn, but if you, or even an email, they might not even reply. What I try to do is I try to find a common link, as in something that I liked about what they did, or something which resonates with me. As in, if let's just say they're working on artificial intelligence, and I am very interested in that. I am not in the field, I'm interested, I have friends who are, and so I find some project that they're working on, and then I say, I read about your project, or I read your post, and then impressive profile, I'd like to learn more, something like that. So finding a link. Otherwise, if it's just, you know, hello, nice to meet you, it's like, okay, yeah, what do you want? Right? People don't even reply sometimes. That's it.
Yeah, definitely have an ask, something you want specifically would like from them or have to offer them. You know, ask them for a referral, or say, I have this resource for you. Or for me, it's very easy to reach out to potential book club authors when I say, hey, we want to feature your book in our book club. And everyone is usually so excited to participate. So if you have a clear ask, it makes it easier, I think.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of what Mariam said and how to use it, I kind of use the strategy of the Dream 100 list. Being able to know and find those 100 partners or people who I want to have in my ecosystem, so that we can eventually build relationships or even work together. It has been a strategy that has really been lucrative from a relationship building and human capital standpoint. I really love it. I came across it a few years back. And so I really, every year I go through and I just see, who do I need to connect with? It doesn't always have to be someone that is in the industry that I'm in. Really taking what Mariam said and just, hey, I want to learn more about it. So I really put time and effort into making the right relationships even before I start reaching out. And the strategy and one of the tactics that I use is the Dream 100 list.
That's so cool. I've never heard about it. Could you tell us more?
Yes. So basically the Dream 100 list is you, and I'll leave a couple of links too in the chat from some ones that are my favorites. So I'm just going to kind of give you my own version of it. But basically it is 100 list. You make a list of 100 people that you need to connect with to help you to grow professionally or even personally. And you put those on and you make it about that particular thing in that year. So that way that the relationships that you're building are very authentic, because you are now, you, of course you can still meet new people, but you're very focused on your list so that, because you know that that's what you need to be able to grow, that they may be able to open a door or to be able to give value or for you to be a value add. So it's not always just a one-way street. That's the great thing about the 100 list. What can you offer? But it also is intentional. So that way you can really break those relationships over time. So for me, I break them up. I know that over this period, I need to connect with 8 to 10 people off of this list. And so it keeps me focused. So that way I'm not all over the place when I'm trying to make the right connections. It also lets me know that I have to use a little bit of those sales strategies that I never thought I was, because I was never a person in sales. But just by picking up the phone, we've gotten so used to being here, or even just kind of utilizing this. But I've made the best relationships with him by just picking up the phone and just leaving a message, and then maybe following up with an email or, asking for a virtual chat instead of just making our virtual coffee, instead of just going directly to that and say, how can we stay connected? Really being you really using those tactics, and even finding out just by looking at some of their personal information online and what they're sharing, just saying, hey, like what Mariam said, I saw that you're interested in this. And also, I believe in handwritten notes. It kind of makes the person stick out. So they want to reach out. So a lot of times, if you guys can't see it, but over here, I have like a whole thing of different cards and thank yous and different, just things that I just hand write out. So that way it really lets them know that I'm really trying to cultivate the right relationship. And there's nothing behind it, that I just want to be able to get on their radar and can see how we can develop it from there. So those are some strategies that I use.
That's wonderful. And also, I think it's an excellent exercise in focus.
Right.
You focus in on whom you want to target, and you feel they will add value to your life and you will add value to them. Very nice. Estella, we've kept you very busy.
You're like, wow. Like, this is actually the first time I've heard about this, the Dream 100 list. Like, I think this is something new methodology that I just knew right now. Like, wow, okay, that is amazing. I'm definitely gonna read more about that. And I think like everybody's gonna have free to learn how to network themselves, especially now that especially those also like just starting their career, right? So speaking of starting career, what are your advice for those career shifters? Someone who is just like fresh in the industry, like what are your advice for them to get connected to the right people? Like earlier in the talk, Sharita, I remember Sharita mentioned that she got surrounded with the mentors so that someone could guide them. Like, how do you make sure that you are talking to the right people and to the right mentor that will guide you as you start your career journey? Anyone? Okay, Michelle.
I would try to get on as many projects as you can, or go to hackathons. And there are lots of people doing side projects, especially in the development world. And if you have your own, that's wonderful. Then you could ask people to work with you on it. But if you don't have your own, try to find someone working on an exciting project that to do like as a side hustle, and work on it just to get some experience for your resume. Because real world experience and like real like development work is going to get you it's going to open doors. So
I'd also have to say, when you're just getting started, there is a great benefit in interning or even volunteering. Those are some great ways for you to be able to kind of get that fast track or that on-the-job training, so that way you can be able to utilize that later on. And you're also can get those references, or you want someone to be able to speak on your behalf. So I'm a huge advocate of volunteering or interning, especially when you're first getting started or you're making that career change.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are both of them. Michelle and Sharita made excellent points. If a person is starting out, if they're still at college or university, what I did was, for example, I went and signed up with a bunch of professors to work on their projects. And I even got my name in a research article because of the work that I had put in with the professor and her team. And in another case with the professor and the work that he was doing. So that really helped me to work for free, volunteer, internship, whatever have you. After that, once you're out, I did the same thing after I graduated, to go and find places that I can be of use as well as learn. And so this was something which I did as well. So when you're starting out, you have to probe a few different things to see what it is that you like. Where is it that you want to go? And it doesn't have to be written in stone. At least that's what I believe. You go find something, you go with the flow, you see if you like it. If you feel you want to change your path, you can adapt. And I think being, as I mentioned earlier, resilient, as well as being someone who adapts, is extremely important on this journey that we are on here.
All right. Okay. So I think we only have like 9 minutes left for the session. So for attendees, are there anything else that you actually want to ask from our panelists? Or did you guys like just keep on listening? Because I was keeping on receiving messages actually in private that they're actually enjoying the session, but how would just chill it? I mentioned earlier in this session that we're just gonna have a chill and talk a lot about like what we are up to at the moment. But okay, Tedis, are there any other questions that you would like to raise? Um, okay, so I think
Somebody
some.
asked. Somebody asked, "How do you view challenges?"
Oh yeah,
Jegs,
okay,
I think it's Jegs or something. How do you view challenges?
yeah.
I view a challenge as an opportunity
Mhm.
because I like to problem solve. I don't like problems. Nobody likes headaches, but at the same time, when you view something as a challenge, it's always fun to tackle. And I think, I would attribute that to my mother because as a child growing up, she always gave us, my brother and I, especially myself, lots of jigsaw puzzles. And these were not just jigsaw puzzles of, a painting or a picture that you put together, but they were pieces. And you had to figure out how to put these pieces together to make this link, or how to pull these pieces apart. Like some of the Japanese have some amazing puzzles, and you just sit for hours trying to figure out how to pull these apart or put them together, or how can you create something. So I think that's extremely important. So when you get a challenge, you basically look at it as, okay, I got to solve this problem, not as a negative. Look at it as a positive.
Mhm. I agree, Mariam. I look at it as a teachable moment. If I'm running into a challenge, then it means that where I am, I've either reached a plateau, or I need to, or this is something that's going to help me pivot to the next steps or the next level. So yes, none of us like challenges, and they can feel chaotic at times. But look at it; it's actually a hidden gem that could really be able to allow you yes, it's a teachable moment, but now you can go back and be the teacher or the mentor to someone else who may be experiencing a similar challenge.
I feel meditating helps me a lot. Like if you just think about it, deeply, but then just let it go and kind of like see where, the meditative state can take you. A lot of times the next step will bubble up and then you just take the next step, and at least it's one step. So small steps.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think are there any questions from our audience? All right. Okay, how can you find the right problems to solve? Okay, this is
Oh,
very
where
random,
should
but
we start? There's so many. You want to start with nature, animals, climate, AI, the next best app. There's so many problems, you will not get bored. So, but you have to pick something that you like, something that you feel that you want more awareness about, and you want to go down that road. So I think that's important, that it has to
Yeah.
work for you.
The most important pain point that your customers have, like if you're getting a lot of feedback from customers, maybe you're going to get 20 different things, but the most important pain point, the one that most people have, I feel that that would be the problem to solve first.
Yeah, I agree. Just because it's going to keep you motivated to go after and figure out that, find that solution that fits your clients or your customers. So I totally agree with Miriam and Michelle about making sure, especially what Miriam said. There's a lot of need for solutions in the marketplace, but you have something, you are gifted to be able to be a solution to a problem that's in the marketplace. And when you focus on that, you will attract the right clients. You will attract the things that you need to continue to be able to be a solution.
okay. So we actually have an answer in the Q&A box. So how do you maintain positive outlooks in a not so nurturing environment? Oh.
What Michelle said, meditation.
Michelle is a very positive person. Yeah, the glass is half full, maybe even full.
Definitely. I believe in a positive attitude, and because it's kind of what you make it. You know, everyone has had jobs where, you know, the environment's not so great. I would say that my jobs were probably 50-50. Like, I loved a lot of them, but like equally, like some of them weren't so great. And I think that you just have to, you know, keep a positive attitude, but, you know, keep it like there's always a bigger picture and like a goal, and just, you know, stay mature, be mature, and look for your next job.
You can't, yeah, but you can't, no, we've had bosses from hell. I can tell you, I've had like 2 bosses. Oh my God, they were so difficult to deal with. And then I talked to other people, and when they told me their stories, I said, oh, my bosses are angels in comparison. So,
Right.
you know, we've all been through that. But the thing is not to let it get you down. And
Right.
as an entrepreneur, I have been in 6-7 startups, and I cannot tell you how many times people keep telling me, don't do it, don't bother, why are you doing it, that's not the way. And, you know, if you keep listening to that, it can get you down, and you just have to, like, comes in there, goes out there. I don't know. Sharita, what do you think?
I just have to say, one thing is we have to know that sometimes it's okay to do what Michelle said and just meditate, but also know that to find your own sort of balance, whether that's self-care, self-maintenance, exercise, do something, just get outside, whatever it takes for you to be able to pour back into yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't create the marketplace solutions if you're feeling chaotic emotionally, physically, or physically. So you definitely want to make sure that you can carve out some time to ensure that you are making you a priority. And I think that that's where you can really then come back with a fresh set of eyes, a fresh mindset, new, fresh ideas. When you've given your time, when you've given yourself some time to literally, from a social media standpoint, just log off. It's gonna be there when you
log off.
It's gonna be there when you get back. And you're going to come back and really be able to make those right connections, offer value, and be able to create solutions that globally that we can all benefit from. When you make sure that, because I think a lot of times we hear that if we log off or take time for ourselves, we're being selfish. No, you're being selfless, and you're thinking and putting you first. And then all of the things that you need and you desire, you'll be able to do it, because you're not mentally exhausted, just working and you know, like and I've been guilty of this. I'm like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's the wrong mindset. Like, it's the wrong mindset. We can't just always be in a hustle and bustle. It has to be some type of work-life balance.
All right. Yeah, I think like our session is up. I know there's a lot of questions still like forming in their mind from our attendees, but if you want to get connected and network with our speakers for this session, please connect with them. I think you guys can share your LinkedIn or socials in the chat. And then attendees can send you messages via those socials.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, since I have to jump off into another sessions as well, thank you so much for this very informative. It's very chill. I really love talking to people right now. And self-check for everyone. Priority yourself. Yeah. Okay. I think self-love is the best love. Anyway, thank you so much, Mariam, Michelle, and Sharita, for your time. I know it's really, really late on your side.
No, it's okay. I'm really honored to be with 3 wonderful people. I've already learned so much today, and from the audience as well, thanks to the questions. So thank you all for your time, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.